迎收看今天的汉天新闻，我是赵子彤。首先来看美国国内消息，美国国会周二为美国总统川普弹劾案的历史性表决铺平道路。当地时间12月18日上午，美国众议院开始就针对特朗普的2项弹劾条款开始辩论。据此前消息，本次弹劾辩论是美国历史性的时刻，共将持续6个小时。这6个小时的自由辩论时间将由2党平分，并由众议院司法委员会领导人掌控。辩论过后，众议院全体议员将对弹劾条款进行表决。下面让我们一起来看一下针对总统川普的弹劾文件全文。
Pursuant to House Resolution 767, the House will proceed to the immediate consideration of House Resolution 755. The clerk will report the resolution.
House Calendar Number 61, House Resolution 755. Resolved that Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the United States Senate. Articles of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America in the name of itself and of the people of the United States of America against Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America, in maintenance and support of its impeachment against him for high crimes and misdemeanors. Article 1, Abuse of Power. The Constitution provides that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment, and that the President shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional oath faithfully to execute the office of President of the United States, and, to the best of his ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, Donald J. Trump has abused the powers of the presidency in that, using the powers of his high office, President Trump solicited the interference of a foreign government, Ukraine, in the 2020 United States presidential election. He did so through a scheme or course of conduct that included soliciting the government of Ukraine to publicly announce investigations that would benefit his re-election, harm the election prospects of a political opponent, and influence the 2020 United States presidential election to his advantage. President Trump also sought to pressure the government of Ukraine to take these steps by conditioning official United States government acts of significant value to Ukraine on its public announcement of the investigations. President Trump engaged in this scheme or course of conduct for corrupt purposes in pursuit of personal political benefit. In so doing, President Trump used the powers of the presidency in a manner that compromised the national security of the United States and undermined the integrity of the United States democratic process. He thus ignored and injured the interests of the nation. President Trump engaged in this scheme or course of conduct through the following means. 1. President Trump, acting both directly and through his agents within and outside the United States government, corruptly solicited the government of Ukraine to publicly announce investigations into A, political opponent, former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr., and B, a discredited theory promoted by Russia, alleging that Ukraine, rather than Russia, interfered in the 2016 United States presidential election. 2, with the same corrupt motives, President Trump, acting both directly and through his agents within and outside the United States government, conditioned 2 official acts on the public announcements that he had requested. A, the release of $391 million of United States taxpayer funds that Congress had appropriated on a bipartisan basis for the purpose of providing vital military and security assistance to Ukraine to oppose Russian aggression, and which President Trump had ordered suspended. And B, a head of state meeting at the White House, which the president of Ukraine sought to demonstrate continued United States support for the government of Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression. 3, faced with the public revelation of his actions, President Trump ultimately released the military and security assistance to the government of Ukraine, but has persisted in openly and corruptly urging and soliciting Ukraine to undertake investigations for his personal political benefit. These actions were consistent with President Trump's previous invitations of foreign interference in United States elections. In all of this, President Trump abused the powers of the presidency by ignoring and injuring national security and other vital national interests to obtain an improper personal political benefit. He has also betrayed the nation by abusing his high office to enlist a foreign power in corrupting democratic elections. Wherefore, President Trump, by such conduct, has demonstrated that he will remain a threat to national security and the Constitution if allowed to remain in office, and has acted in a manner grossly incompatible with self-governance and the rule of law. President Trump thus warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Article 2, Obstruction of Congress. The Constitution provides that the House of Representatives shall have the sole power of impeachment and that the President shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. In his conduct of the office of President of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional oath faithfully to execute the office of President of the United States, and to the best of his ability preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in violation of his constitutional duty to take care that the laws be faithfully executed, Donald J. Trump has directed the unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance of subpoenas issued by the House of Representatives pursuant to its sole power of impeachment. President Trump has abused the powers of the presidency in a manner offensive to and subversive of the Constitution, in that the House of Representatives has engaged in an impeachment inquiry focused on President Trump's corrupt solicitation of the government of Ukraine to interfere in the 2020 United States presidential election. As part of this impeachment inquiry, the committees undertaking the investigation served subpoenas seeking documents and testimony deemed vital to the inquiry from various executive branch agencies and offices and current and former officials. In response, without lawful cause or excuse, President Trump directed executive branch agencies, offices, and officials not to comply with those subpoenas. President Trump thus interposed the powers of the presidency against the lawful subpoenas of the House of Representatives and assumed to himself functions and judgments necessary to the exercise of the sole power of impeachment vested by the Constitution in the House of Representatives. President Trump abused the powers of his high office through the following means. 1, directing the White House to defy a lawful subpoena by withholding the production of documents sought therein by the committees. 2, directing other executive branch agencies and offices to defy lawful subpoenas and withhold the production of documents and records from the committees, in response to which the Department of State, Office of Management and Budget, Department of Energy, and Department of Defense refused to produce a single document or record. 3, directing current and former executive branch officials not to cooperate with the committees, in response to which 9 administration officials defied subpoenas for testimony, namely John Michael Mick Mulvaney, Robert B. Blair, John A. Eisenberg, Michael Ellis, Preston Wells Griffith, Russell T. Vogt, Michael Duffy, Brian McCormick, and T. Ulrich Breckbuhl. These actions were consistent with President Trump's previous efforts to undermine United States government investigations into foreign interference in United States elections. Through these actions, President Trump sought to arrogate to himself the right to determine the propriety, scope, and nature of an impeachment inquiry into his own conduct, as well as the unilateral prerogative to deny any and all information to the House of Representatives and the exercise of its sole power of impeachment. In the history of the Republic, no president has ever ordered the complete defiance of an impeachment inquiry or sought to obstruct and impede so comprehensively the ability of the House of Representatives to investigate high crimes and misdemeanors. This abuse of office served to cover up the president's own repeated misconduct and to seize and control the power of impeachment, and thus to nullify a vital constitutional safeguard vested solely in the House of Representatives. In all of this, President Trump has acted in a manner contrary to his trust as president and subversive of constitutional government, to the great prejudice of the cause of law and justice, and to the manifest injury of the people of the United States. Wherefore, President Trump, by such conduct, has demonstrated that he will remain a threat to the Constitution if allowed to remain in office, and has acted in a manner grossly incompatible with self-governance and the rule of law. President Trump thus warrants impeachment and trial, removal from office, and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States.
本周对于国会来说是一场繁忙而关键的一周。除了万众瞩目的弹劾总统川普的问题，国会还忙于许多其他法案的决决。例如，当地时间周二，众议院就批准了一项1.4亿万美元的支出计划，以避免政府部分关门。新计划也将使美国烟草购买的年龄提高至21岁，并永久废除奥巴马时期平价医疗法案中的几项税。国会议员们表示，他们是民众的服务者，将尽力以最高的效率为美国人民解决最多的问题。
Despite the ongoing impeachment saga, Republicans and Democrats have had other matters on their agendas.
Our commitment to the American people was to keep government open and to make every bit of progress that we could.
On Tuesday, the House approved a $1.4 trillion spending package that funds the government through fiscal year 2020.
Not one of the 33 of us that are here got everything they wanted, believes this is a perfect bill, but it is a work product worthy of the Appropriations Committee and the House of Representatives and of our country.
The legislation includes a military pay raise, money for the border wall, funding for election security, and gun research at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
For all these reasons, we must get this bill done. As we all know, operating under a continuing resolution actually costs more money and results in delayed capabilities.
If the Senate also gives it the nod, it heads to President Trump. He has until Friday to sign it, which avoids a government shutdown. Also heading to the president's desk, a $738 billion defense authorization bill that creates the president's Space Force. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
有分析专家日前表示，在2020年美国总统大选期间，美国威斯康辛州、宾夕法尼亚州、亚利桑那州、迈阿密州、新罕布什尔州、俄亥俄州、密歇根州等7个州有可能会成为摇摆州。据了解，虽然各州摇摆州的经济可能都在放缓，但在川普任职期间，所有摇摆州的失业率都下降了。另外，与2016年第3季度相比，美国各州第3季度的个人收入增长较为强劲，这多少也能够在摇摆州的选民中营造一种经济上的幸福感。目前，这些州的共和党人表现都相对团结，这些摇摆州的态度将决定美国总统川普的命运。
While many in the political world are focusing on House Democrats in swing districts and how they may vote on impeachment,
I just don't agree with this. I just,
So I will be voting yes on obstruction.
less focus is being given to House Republicans from purple districts and how they might vote. The reason? As of now, Republicans appear united against impeachment.
The Republicans have never been so united as they are right now, ever.
In order to justify that position, many Republicans simply deny reality, as seen here by Congresswoman Debbie Lesko of Arizona.
Why is it ever okay for an American president to ask a foreign power to investigate a political rival? Why do you think that's okay?
He didn't do that.
He did ask.
He sure did do that. Trump himself has said he asked Ukraine to investigate the Bidens.
If they were honest about it, they'd start a major investigation into the Bidens. Thank you very much.
Denying facts and evidence has become the rule of the day.
Ukrainians, third, didn't know that the aid was held up at the time of the phone call.
Congressman Jordan of Ohio making that claim despite this testimony from a Pentagon official.
A member of my staff got a question from a Ukraine embassy contact asking what was going on with Ukraine security assistance.
It may be difficult for the public to imagine these same Republicans tolerating these same offenses from a Democratic president. And that was the test laid out in 1974 by Illinois Republican Congressman Robert McClory, who initially supported President Nixon and then changed his mind.
I've heard it said by some that they cannot understand how a Republican could vote to impeach a Republican president. I cannot and do not envision my role in that dim light.
I'm Lindsey Graham from South Carolina.
Then House Floor Manager Lindsey Graham asked the same basic question during the Clinton impeachment in 1998.
If a Republican president had done these things, would a Republican delegation gone to tell him to get out of town? I hope so.
Flash forward 21 years, and Senator Lindsey Graham got his answer.
I am trying to give a pretty clear signal. I have made up my mind. I'm not
I
trying
wasn't
to
in any
pretend
doubt
to be
at this
a
point,
fair
did he?
juror here.
Jake Tapper, CNN, Washington.
在取代北美自由贸易协议的协定达成几天之后，墨西哥对美国国会提出的最终批准该协定的议案提出质疑。墨西哥认为，美国在议案中增加了指定多达5个美国劳工检查人员在墨西哥监督劳工制度改革执行情况的内容。但目前经过协商，墨西哥暂时已经与美国达成新的一致。这些被派往墨西哥的工作人员身份将不再是监督人员，并且也将全程遵循墨西哥的法律进行工作。
Well, this has been a confusing couple of days here in Mexico, to say the least, surrounding this USMCA deal. What had looked to be a bit of a crisis in terms of getting this newly negotiated trade deal passed now appears to have been resolved. So how did we get here in the first place? Well, it was just last week that members of the Mexican, Canadian, and American governments signed this newly agreed to deal. As a part of that deal, House Democrats in the United States were very concerned that new Mexican labor laws that had been enacted as a part of this deal, well, the Democrats wanted to make sure they were being enforced down here. And so as a part of the bill that was introduced in the House on Friday, last Friday, that would authorize ultimately the approval, the ratification of the USMCA, there was specific language put in that bill that called for up to 5 labor attaches, Americans, to be based here in Mexico City to help monitor and enforce those newly enacted Mexican labor laws. Well, Mexico's government saw that bill and said, hold on, that's a problem. We didn't agree to that. We believe that if those 5 labor attaches were to come into Mexico, that would be a violation of our sovereignty, and that wasn't in the original deal. So as a result, you had Mexico's chief negotiator for the USMCA fly to the United States, to Washington, to meet with his counterpart in Washington during the day on Monday to try and get this ironed out. And it appears it has been. In a letter released on Monday afternoon by the U.S. Trade Representative, that letter said in part, quote, "These personnel," referring to these labor attaches, "will not be labor inspectors and will abide by all relevant Mexican laws. As you know, the USMCA's first of its kind facility-specific rapid response mechanism allows an independent 3-person panel chosen by both parties to request on-site verifications in any of our 3 countries when there are good faith questions about whether workers at a particular facility are being denied key labor rights. But those verifications will be conducted by the independent panelists, not by the labor attaches." Basically, what the USTR is saying there is, this was just a misunderstanding. We will respect your laws. We don't want to let you believe that we will be violating sovereignty. And Mexico's chief negotiator, for his part, said for him, that's good enough. So it does appear, at least at this point, that things are back on track, and we could see a vote on this deal, which has already been ratified by the Mexican Senate. We could see the U.S. House of Representatives vote on this deal as early as this week. So what looked to be a crisis now appears to have been averted. Matt Rivers, CNN, Mexico City.
休息一下，马上回来。